white shirt and black shoes, and went with the good look like that. And then I shaved fur because I was looking at like all the pictures of greasers back in the day, and strange as it is that like icons, but all of them shaved, which is like, that's a bit interesting. You still submitted to like the state, like, yeah, we're rebelling against society, but come on, we still have standards.
We're rebelling against society, and also we gotta look good doing it. That's how you roll. You gotta do it for Johnny and slick your hair back.
You gotta do it for James Dean or Pony Boy.
Pony Boy.
Well, big old.
Yeah, that's very cool. I figured we get the recording started right away. So here we are, folks. This is episode 156 of Bloody Thumbs podcast. I'm double checking to make sure I'm on the right number here. I believe so. We are on 156 of Bloody Thumbs podcast. Like we mentioned before, we want to kind of keep the podcasting a bit consistent. So now that we had the chance to kind of get started recording, putting out podcasts at the first week of the month, and then we're going to be doing this again later on by the end of the week of this month. So we're gonna keep that going and seeing how that goes. But I've been good, man. I've been not too busy. I've been kind of keeping to myself, doing working, playing getting in some games, feeding stray cats behind my backyard.
No. You don't get to skip over that one. Feeding stray cats?
Yeah, man. Well, just one cat. One cat. No, it's just this stray cat that I always see kind of walking around my neighborhood. Every time when I drive out to work, I see it hanging out near the streets, and then like it'll occasionally go chill out in my backyard. So I figured, why not get some cat food when I come back? And then since I've been feeding it hasn't really it's kind of made a place of its own now in the backyard. It kind of knows me already at this point. I'm a pleasant man. I'm like a pleasant Splinter feeding stray cats. That's how I roll, man.
Oh my gosh! So okay. First off, are you living with anybody currently?
I am. I'm living with my family right now.
Second off, do they know that you're feeding the cat and that it's making a home for itself in the back?
Yeah, they know. They're pretty cool about it. I mean, it's a really skinny cat. So like, it's as I'm feeding it day by day, it is starting to kind of plump up a little bit. Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. I feel bad for it because it doesn't have a home, because I always see it hanging around the backyard or somewhere else near the area. So I might as well give it some food. At first, every time when I would go outside to kind of see, like, to kind of make some conversation with it, it'd always like kind of be scared and run away. And I had to slowly but surely make my way towards it. And then we kind of, as the days gone by, it's kind of taken a liking to me. It always knows who I am every time I come outside. It's funny because my family makes fun of me because it's like, the cat doesn't like you, it just likes you because you feed it food. It's like, no, it's my friend. we made a connection. No, like we fed it.
Blood brothers, right?
We're blood brothers, dude. It's like we've known each other. Like it's like we have that podcasting relationship like you and I have. That's a tough bond to break.
Fed me though. To be fair, you've never sent me money for pizza, and the only time that I think the only time I've ever been fed is when I was feeding myself.
I feel bad about that. Now that you bring it up.
Now I'm just jealous because you obviously prefer the cat over me, which I understand because at least cats keep hygienically clean, not like me.
The cat's cute, very cute cat.
Well, it's another thing it has that I doesn't.
Yeah, I mean, except hair. Well, you're kind of getting. I mean, since it's November, maybe we'll switch sides. Once you start growing out a nice beard, I may start feeding you CH. But I like it.
Maybe I can like put myself up for adoption and just like get one of those Sarah McLachlan songs on a commercial. It's like, look at this poor schmuck. He can't even comb his beard right.
It's crazy. I mean, it's already to the point where I already bought cat food and then a bowl for it and a bowl of water. It might as well be my like surrogate cat. my family won't let it in the house, but eventually, once it kind of fattens up, I think I'll maybe consider taking it to the vet to see if everything checks out with it. I really want to bring it in, to be honest with you. I like that cat's pretty nice. It's pretty cool. Never had a problem with it. I haven't really bothered to pick it up because I don't know what kind of like background or history it has, so I don't really want to risk getting scratched. But it's been really cool for the most part. I always I show it my forehand or palm or whatever. It always comes towards it, so I'm always rubbing it down and scratching his belly. It always rubs itself against my legs. So it does that a lot. I don't know what that means. If anyone has any cats,
that would be bad if it was just like, I need you to scratch the lesions off of me. So let me just get that under there.
Yeah, it's a very itchy cat, but it'll occasionally go its separate ways and come back. So I always have some sort of feline friend hanging out outside just for a little bit. We'll see how that goes. I'll keep you guys posted. I may adopt it. I don't even have a name for it. I just call it Kitty. So what's up, Kitty? What are you doing, Kitty? Always meowing at me. It's so cute. I can't even when I walk back into the house. It's like I just sitting there like watching the door. It's like, God damn it. I can't. I don't know what to do. If I just let it be, or just alert somebody, because it needs a home. This cat needs a home.
Yeah, but well, I mean, if you can, it's always good to, it's nice to be a pet owner and to have an animal to take care of and to care for, and it seems like you and the cat seem to get along pretty well. So, as long as it doesn't need, as long as it gets itself checked out and gets make sure it doesn't have rabies or anything. If you take it to the vet, then I'd say go for it.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. I haven't decided because I mean even the vet itself can get pretty pricey. I mean my sister has 2 guinea pigs and one of them wasn't really eating, and we had to bring it to the vet, and that took up a good $200 for like the week stay it was there. So I gotta consider my options here. If I'm really gonna take it to the vet, I'm going in all the way. It might as well be my pet at this point if I'm taking it to the vet. We'll see how that goes. That's the life of me. I'm a surrogate pet owner at this point.
A real pussy magnet.
That's right. And in between that, just reading some comics. I bought some Green Lantern comics. I never read Green Lantern, and I'm really into Green Lantern now. It's some good stuff.
Jeff Johns run.
Yeah, the Jeff Johns run off of the New 52.
Yeah. I've heard nothing but great stuff about Jeff Johns. I have not read any of his work, but he's like the guy keeping DC together, apparently. Like, he's the overseer of everything, and he even loves, putting the obscure weird... Hello? I'm sorry.
You dropped out there.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I was just saying that Jeff Johns is apparently the guy who's heading the DC Comics, which is very strange because it's called DC Comics, but it stands for Detective Comics. And he's apparently a very, very smart guy, and he's the one who is really spearheading a kind of tied together universe and isn't afraid of bringing the really weird stuff or obscure stuff to the forefront.
Yeah, I just recently got into the kind of the relaunch of the DC New 52 stuff. I guess it's just more like a relaunch of most of the characters, and kind of there'll be different writers and artists that kind of put their spin on some of these current characters and kind of give them a slightly new backstory and kind of freshen them up. I've really enjoyed what I've read from that run that they've been putting out. I mean, this is something that I haven't even really have been into or was even aware of this until I just recently started picking up on comics, and then there's so much. I think we talked about it. There's so much to comics. It's just an insane amount.
It's its own art form.
It's an insane amount of research you have to do with some of what kind of current situation is going on. You just can't go ahead and pick up an issue. You have to know a little bit of the background before that, because it's just always ongoing, and there's always previous storylines and threads that you got to look into. It took me at least 30 minutes looking at some of the some of the story arcs that were going on with especially in the new Batmans. There's so much different Batman comics and iterations. Yeah, I found out that he has a son. I had no idea. They're going all out with Batman.
Batman and Wolverine, they keep on discovering that they have sons. Just like, I want them to go on the Maury Povich show. Just be like, you are the father.
Yeah, might as well. I mean, he's got his own Bat family empire going on there of crime fighting. He can't do it all on his own, so he might as well take in orphans and start birthing some future crime fighters. That's what you got to do, man. That's what the responsible adult does. That Batman must keep that symbol going on. Yeah, that's very responsible. I mean, he's more involved in his kid's life than most people are. That's saying something right there. Teaching them how to break knees. That's parenting right there.
Teaching them all about morality, just like, oh yeah, like it's wrong to kill, but make sure that you paralyze people or put insane people in jail that you know are gonna break out one day.
Right. So I'm digging the story arc Jeff Johns has done for Green Lantern. I think he's done Aquaman too for the new 52 run. Mm-hmm. Never read Aquaman. I'll give it a shot, and we'll see how that goes. Just been reading comics. I never thought I'd see the day when I'd be reading comics. Not that it's a bad thing. I never really got into them before. And DC is really all I ever read. I never read any Marvel stuff. So if anyone has Marvel suggestions on what I could read, definitely throw them our way. I'll definitely give it a shot.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest comic aficionado, but my biggest, you got me interested in comics again. So I started buying up some Marvel comics, since I tend to prefer the Marvel characters to DC. Nothing against DC, but right. There's so many different characters, there's so many different comic books, so I kind of just stuck to the core of what I know, which is usually Spider-Man. And they got like this Edge of the Spider-Verse thing going on, where they have like different stories, and one of them is that Gwen Stacy actually got bitten by the spider and became Spider-Girl. Oh, and then which was a really, really good one. And the one that I'm currently reading, which is actually a trade paperback volume of the Superior Foes of Spider-Man, which is essentially a bunch of like D-list bad guys, their day in the life of what they do, and it's led by of all people, like the Boomerang, and like it is one of the funniest things I've ever written, just because it's like all these really pathetic villains who have to deal with things like the Boomerang has to deal with his alcoholism, the fact that he was like a Major League Baseball star, and his lawyer, who's just this incompetent idiot, but he can't afford anyone else, and just this absolutely absurd idea of a heist, where essentially he's kind of making it up as he goes along. And it's a very, like, the only character you might know from there is Shocker, and even then they retool him to the point where it's like, oh, he's interesting again. I like that. So it's a pretty good read, and it was at that. Comic books are really weird, because it's at the time where recently they had Spider-Man's brain taken over by Doc Ock, and this is currently where things are at, where Spider-Man is incredibly violent now. He I don't think he's killing people, but he's just like viciously beating up bad guys to the point where it's like, okay, now villains are really starting to be afraid. And it's funny seeing like the other side of how the other half lives. Like these guys are like Shocker and another guy are robbing a pet store, and it's just so funny because the other guy completely loses his cool at a little kid, so they're kind of forced into revealing themselves and to rob the pet store. So it's pretty good. It's I'm about halfway through, and it's an interesting read.
Yeah, you definitely sold me on that. I'm very. I mean, that's the thing. Spider-Man's the only one that I'm aware of some of the villains, because I played a lot of Spider-Man games growing up, so I'm definitely familiar with villains like Shocker and Hammerhead. And those
Hammerhead shows up in there. He's got a pretty cool appearance.
Yeah, I figured he'd be in there. That the whole summary you brought up just reminds me of like a kind of a throwaway episode they put together on like kind of a long running cartoon series where they just kind of take the underappreciated, unnoticed kind of villains and put them together to form a group because they're just.
There was an episode. There was an episode of Justice League where they had Wonder Woman turn into a pig, and so. I think it's like they tried to get like every hero who's like they're trying to find her, but they don't want everyone to know, so they just get like the D-list heroes going and like knocking from door to door. It's like, "Hello, have you seen this pig?" And that's pretty much the entire episode.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I would definitely give that a shot. You gotta give me the name of that comic later. I will definitely check that out. That got me interested in seeing how that goes out. I love the trade paperback stuff. There's so much cheaper. Like I've noticed. I haven't delved into it too crazy. I've only bought like one issue, but those issues can really add up because they once you get all the issues, they do complete the story depending on what you're reading. But the trade paperbacks are always the best route to go with. You just have to wait till they put them out and all the issues are out together. That's probably the best way to read them.
It's definitely it's great that the trade paperbacks are there, but they're not always in unlimited quantities. And one of the big ones that I was always one of the only ones that I was really hounding for, just because Spider-Man's my boy. I love him, and so I was trying to find the best stories with Spider-Man, and one of them is Kraven's Last Hunt, which is regarded as one of just the best story arcs of Spider-Man, and that thing is out of print so fast that I'm on alert for that. And so when it popped up, I finally bought one, and lo and behold, like a month later, they were all out of them. So I was fortunate to get my hands on.
Oh man, yeah, but those kinds of prints, those really go out real quick. So you gotta know quick if you're gonna end up getting them or not. It was a while to come back. So that's really cool, man. So yeah, comics, doing some of the comic reading, and obviously while we're always here every week, we're playing some games, playing some of the video games. I noticed some of the. I haven't really kept up with the news because not really much. I've noticed a few things here. I saw that the Witcher 3 DLCs that are coming out are all free, which is pretty awesome. Like 16 pieces of DLC.
Yeah, I don't get that.
Yeah, not too sure about it, but I mean,
no. What is free DLC? I've never heard of that concept before.
I know it's crazy.
Do you mean that we download it for free and then we pay for the characters and missions in the game?
Believe it or not, CH, that's kind of been the go-to thing to do in games these days.
I'm flabbergasted, really, that they act that CD Projekt won't understand what it's good that they're not in North America, because it's obvious that they don't understand what we're doing over here. Activision is like, okay, we'll sell you this character for $3.99. Like, oh, we'll give you this map for $5.99. They're just like, here's 16 pieces of free DLC. All you need is an internet connection. It's like, you guys do realize that you're not going to make oodles of money just from doing that, and I mean, you're respecting your customer. That's unheard of. I mean, remember, like with Witcher 2, they give you like 2 CDs, a music soundtrack, a guide to help you with everything, like a map. I'm pretty sure like the earlobe of one of the people who worked there, of like the keys to their house, their firstborn. Like, you guys give us way too much stuff, all right? Don't you understand you're supposed to milk us for all we're worth?
I know, right?
Really?
Yeah, it's insane, believe it or not. I mean, who would have thought we would be saying how crazy it is that they're putting out free DLC? But that's the case that we're dealt with. I really love CD Projekt Red. They've been really cool about things like that. They're very, very open. They don't really nickel and dime the customer at all. I mean, that's pretty. That's pretty good. I mean, that's how most publishers should be acting. I mean, you want to say thank you to the customers to buy your game, and what better way to do that is to giving them 16 free pieces of DLC. I mean that's a lot that you can ask for, man.
Mm-hmm.
So I really like that. That's one up to CD Projekt Red. I really hope I think Witcher 3 will do well. I think it definitely do well, especially with what they do with things like this, and especially just how open they are to the not DRMing their games, and even the PC crowd. They're really cool with. They even go all out for them as well. So they know that they're the ones that also buy their games. So that's really awesome.
Yeah, especially with they put their stuff on Good Old Games, on I think they put them on Steam, and they really want to put out the best product that they can, and not really worry about the business side. Like, of course they're a business to make a profit, but they want to squeeze out every bit of content that they can, and I really hope that catches on.
I hope so too. It hasn't been really too crazy with that. I mean, that I've noticed, especially since we're already in the age of new consoles. I really haven't noticed things really being limited to having to purchase like online passes. I think that's gone away for the most part. The online passes, which is good.
I mean, Ubisoft dropped Uplay after I think it was Black Flag that they just said, nobody's really liking this, and we're just gonna drop it.
I really didn't feel anything towards Uplay. I was just I really didn't. It really didn't add to anything. There were some things you can unlock, like wallpapers, or I think in-game content if you have like the Uplay points as you play through Ubisoft games. But yeah, they didn't really need to add anything. So I mean, it neither hurts nor gains them much to really get rid of it. But right now at this point, I mean, you don't really need it. It's kind of it kind of gets in the way sometimes. Especially, I hate when games have you log into their servers or whatever. Like if you have like Warner Brothers ID or Uplay ID, it's like, I don't remember when I set this up. I just want to play the damn game already. It's crazy.
Or the EA Access thing, where you like through Origin, which is, I apologize to the PC listeners out there, but damn, Origin is just terrible. And that, or like even with something that I like the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, you still got to sign in through another server, which is like, okay, this is just needlessly overcomplicated. Yeah,
it just delays you from playing the game pretty much. Mm-hmm. But yeah, fortunately, there isn't too much too much of those that does that. It hasn't been too crazy. It's just a little redundant. Other than that, nothing that I can think of off the news. I can speak about what was that?
Yeah, you do. The Grand Theft Auto first person thing.
Oh yeah, I did bring that up to you a little bit. I know that since we're getting the next gen releases, I keep saying next gen, but I mean they currently technically are this gen, so whatever. Mm-hmm. PS4, Xbox One,
new gen.
PS4, Xbox One versions of GTA 5, they put out a trailer where you can play the game all in first person. I think it looks cool. It'll definitely add a new kind of experience to it. I don't know how well it will add to it. I mean, from what I've seen, it looks like like I mentioned, just a whole new experience. I mean, it would be interesting to replay it again, but not really. It's not really something that's going to get me to purchase it day one. I'll eventually maybe play it when it goes on sale. But it's cool. It's a nice feature to have. It's definitely a little bit of a add-on to making you want to get the next gen version. I'm gonna say it because I know they haven't put out the heist missions yet. I don't know if they ever will, but I'm thinking.
Don't even start on that.
Yeah, I'm thinking they probably will put that out once the next gen versions of it come out. They'll probably put it out till then. I don't know if they'll still do it for 360 versions, PS3 versions of that. Who knows?
They had fucking better, because they promised it was going to be released. It's been over a year since Grand Theft Auto 5 was released. They said that GTA Online would launch with heists we haven't been updated since that on the status of that. And so we're just twiddling our thumbs, and then they have the gall to throw it. Like, listen, first off, I do wonder how it's going to translate on over to first person. I do wonder if it's going to not be as intuitively designed, because it's kind of designed to be a cover shooter,
right?
Where you can jump around, you can get to cover. How easy will it be to pop in and out of cover? Will it go to third person like Gears of War? Who knows? But getting that, it's like you guys have enough time to make the Xbox One and PS4 port, and you haven't even finished the goddamn game you promised us back when the 360 and PS3 were in its heyday. What's your excuse? And I'm not gonna pay double dip for next gen, just because I'm kind of disappointed in the Grand Theft Auto series as a whole right now, and B, it just the first person view seems really nice. I hope it comes out for the 360, so you can download something and get a first person view. I don't know how difficult it is. Maybe it's really difficult. Maybe it's not. But I'm interested in seeing the maximization of the game I already have, which I'm still being cheated on, because the heist thing just not even on the to-do list.
No, I hear you. I definitely could see your point of view on this. I definitely agree as well. I mean, they did promise that it was going to be within the online feature, and it never really was. It never really came to fruition. So I definitely won't be I definitely won't be getting it right away. Eventually, down in the long run, I probably will. But at this point, I don't see the first person added feature really improving on what the game could definitely use some polish on. It's in terms of the gameplay, so I don't see it really adding to it that much, like we mentioned. And who knows, they may do that cover mechanic feature like Deus Ex. They may switch it back, switch to the third person camera view. That would be the way to do it. They haven't really shown how that works, but other than just kind of seeing how, obviously how well constructed the world is and how beautiful it is, that definitely is the enticing feature of it. Just looking at it, that'd be cool just to walk. I would do that same thing like I did in Red Dead, just walk from one end of the map to the other, just to see how well constructed and how well put together the world is. That I would do, but that's not what I'm gonna buy it for. I'm not gonna pay $60 just so I can walk from one end of the map to the other. We'll see. And I know that I have a feeling they're gonna do that. They're gonna put out the bank heist once that version comes out, and I'm afraid that we're not gonna get that for the 360 PS3 versions. I have a feeling that's what's gonna happen.
I will burn down Rockstar North offices if that's the case. Just like, you sons of bitches! This is a huge part of why I did this.
I hear you, man. I hear
a year.
Oh man,
just like God.
See your soapbox.
Sorry.
See your soapbox.
Yeah,
get on that soapbox.
I'm taking the soapbox and I'm throwing it into the nearby window of the pharmacy and starting a riot. Let's go. This is tonight. Yeah,
I mean, as much as I would probably be annoyed about this as well, it's hard for me to be annoyed at this, because Bank Heist is cool. It wasn't really the feature I was looking for, but yeah, I can understand why you would be annoyed at that possibly not being incorporated into the previous gen versions, or who knows, maybe not even the new gen. We have
because they advertised it with the 360 gen.
Right, I hear you.
They specifically said like, oh, heist mode with the 360 and PS3 graphics. Like, this will be awesome. It's like, you better come out with your end of the deal, or else. There's only so many times I can play Team Deathmatch and get run over by some douchebag in a car when I've enabled passive mode. It's like, listen, you either make me passive or don't. Make me invulnerable to damage or don't. It's your choice, but damn it, just make your mind.
True that, CH. Wise words.
A year. A year.
That's gonna be on
I'm losing my mind.
be at the back of the box. A year. CH.
Like with like a year in quotations, and then there's like ellipses after year.
I think that would be a good title for your review. If you ever do review GTA 5, like the next gen version, that would be your title. A year. ...
A year. GTA 5, a year. Main body paragraph. We've waited for a year.
Yeah.
And it's not even coming out on the consoles it was promised. 10 out of 10 would play again.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah. But speaking of GTA 5, I had the luxury of rebuying the HD version of GTA San Andreas.
Oh man, I did see this. I did see this advertised on the Xbox Live Store when I was using it a little while ago. I was playing some Mortal Kombat Online, and I saw that prominently advertised. It's a good price, right? It's like $55. I don't know if it was on sale. That's the actual online price for that. I hear that's like the Android. Is a port of the Android version of that game, so some of the features are not there.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
It's a very interesting beast because it is. It seems very much. There's no confirmation that it is an Android or iPhone port, but it certainly feels that way because a lot of the controls are simplified, some for the better, some for the worse.
Right.
It is nice to not have to continually press down A on your Xbox controller when you're running just to... you essentially can just hold down A and you'll sprint until you're tired. But then there's stuff like, because it was maybe intended for a phone, when you hold down the right trigger for the driving mechanic for gas, it won't do it incrementally like it does for GTA 5, 4, and all the other for consoles. It just like goes to its maximum speed. So you just kind of have to tap it, for your determined speed, and then just let go, and then cruise in neutral, sort of. It's kind of like an all or nothing sort of system. Free aim is kind of automatically. Which is kind of not really key for the consoles, because with the consoles you need as much help as you can because the controls are not exactly the most helpful. So it feels like a lot of this stuff was intended for the phone, for phones that can support the game. But on the plus side. The game is here in all of its glory. The textures are updated. It looks really good. The art style still really holds up. A lot of the gameplay is still unchanged and really fun. I still have more fun with it than I did with GTA 5 and 4. And it has so much extra content. San Andreas was the last GTA game I really thoroughly enjoyed all the way through, because I think what it was and didn't try to do a lot of the mistakes that I feel like the series went to when it went to the 7th generation of consoles. And but the downsides are, hopefully this gets fixed. There's some audio clipping out during cutscenes of characters talking. Occasionally there's problems with draw distance and pop-ins, which is just really, really weird for a game that's over 10 years old. And it's kind of jarring, just because you think, like, okay, they should really be able to push this out to its maximum extent, because this is not difficult technology to render, because you play GTA 5 and how far they're able to push that out. And now just imagine San Andreas, and that should be pretty easy, but it's still they didn't do it right for whatever reason. But some of the more they added checkpoints, which is what I love, because instead of losing a mission and then you have to go all the way back to the start of the mission and go to the mission marker, you see the cutscene, then go back over and do that again. It's just, okay, it's a checkpoint. If you fail, it says, do you want a checkpoint? Yes. Start over again. And so good time saver on that one, and all the interfaces look a lot cleaner than did on the PS2 or the original three Xbox and 360 downloads that you could get from the marketplace before they took it off. And yeah, it's still a really good time, and they added achievements too, so that's a nice fun little booster.
Yeah, it gives you a nice. I guess it gives you a nice incentive to try out what the game offers, and allows you to play more of it like you did in the past when it came out. So that's really cool. It seems like a lot. Seems like a good price, especially for a 10-year-old game. And it seems like if you're feeling nostalgic, definitely the way to go is to play that, or maybe if you do have an old copy of it, you could always like play the Xbox on demand version of it. Without
no, you can't.
Now you can't anymore, or
no? They before they released the HD remake, they took it off the marketplace.
Damn it! Because
even if you bought I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just saying that even if you bought the original on-demand original Xbox game, which is essentially just like the original Xbox game, but now you could play it online on your 360. They took it off, so you can't re-download it. So the only way that you could play San Andreas is to either have the original disc or download the HD version from the marketplace.
Oh, that sucks, man. Especially if you bought it and then you have to re-download it again. You normally wouldn't have any issue with that, but since you took it off, it sucks you can't re-download it.
Yep.
I know that some games they're not going to look the best. I know that's the reason why for these HDs they're always like modified in a way that had better textures. But I remember playing True Crime Streets of LA. I bought the Xbox version of it and played it on the 360. I mean, granted, it's not going to run the greatest like it does on the original Xbox, but it does look a little bit better because I remember it's so jarring to think back when you first played those games on standard definition TVs and playing them again on an HD TV. It definitely does make a difference. I mean, it's almost as good as any other HD port you can get. Yeah. It's almost similar. I guess depending on the game, they'll maybe add a few tweaks to it in terms of the control scheme. So that will probably be the only incentive that you probably would have to replay those kind of games. Is to probably the better controls and maybe some slightly better textures.
Mm-hmm. I would absolutely love to play. That they've started to do what I really love, which is they're releasing remakes of classic games like Secret of Monkey Island and Halo and Fable, and they're doing anniversary editions or special editions or Criterion editions or whatever you want to call them, where they're updating the graphic. It's essentially the same game, but they're updating the graphics so much to where they're almost a completely different beast in terms of their presentation. And even they got fan remakes going on up, like the first Half-Life was remade into Black Mesa, which is absolutely phenomenal how it looks. I unfortunately cannot run it on my computer, but I've seen a bunch of walkthroughs and playthroughs on streaming. I'm not going to say streaming. I'll say YouTube essentially. And it looks great, and I love remakes, and I would absolutely kill for a true HD remake of GTA San Andreas, and I'll end up that, and also System Shock 2. I'm playing the original one on my laptop, and the atmosphere still holds up. It's just like the textures, like, oh come on, and replaying Alien Isolation, where so much of it reminds me of System Shock 2 and of Bioshock, of how it looks and the lighting. It's like, wow, if they put these textures and the lighting and all the physics of this into System Shock 2 remake, that would blow me away.
Yeah, that'd be hell of a bargain. I didn't play too much to completion of System Shock 2, but I did play a good enough amount to really get a feel for it back when it first came on to Good Old Games. So once you get like the the fan made like textures, it does look a little bit better. But yeah, that atmosphere definitely still holds up. It's really the art design there is still good. How everything's constructed and how everything's set up. Yeah, those monkeys, man, freak me out.
I just love that we're like, okay, we're gonna have these terrible monsters. What about a psychic monkey that shoots out bolts of energy? Sure, why not? Let's put that in there.
It's good. It's good to see that they, these are the kind of remakes and remastering I definitely like to see, especially when you're talking about Halo. Even with Halo 2, I think I saw that the Halo 2 cutscenes are being redone.
By Blur?
Yeah, by Blur. So they're slightly longer, and then they were in the original game. So that definitely adds a whole another element to that game. So it's more than just your simple HDified version of the game. It's actually they're adding a lot to it, which seems pretty cool.
Mm-hmm. They, looking at all the new character models that they have. I love the one for the Chief, Arbiter. Like, I had to look at a video of Sergeant Johnson talking on the Cairo Bridge, and just seeing a screenshot. I'm like, oh my god, they actually hired actors for this. Like, no, it's actually just so close to realistic that it looks like they're real. Like, wow, that is damn good.
How are you feeling about the Halo TV series? I don't know if you've kept up on that at all.
Nightfall?
Yeah, I believe so.
I have not watched anything about it. I'm interested in it just because I love the Halo franchise. Ridley Scott's a part of it. It's tying into Halo 5, but honestly, I haven't heard anything about it besides the announcement trailer.
Okay, just curious.
Have you?
No, I mean, I'm not too deep into Halo, so I'm not too sure on exactly what the whole series is about.
It's essentially people making really bad decisions. The narrative.
I hear you.
And Master Chief blows stuff up.
Sounds good.
It was really tragic to me that a lot of the best parts of I did like a lot of the Halo books and stuff when Bungie was still in control of the Halo franchise, and it just disappointed me that a lot of that interesting background stuff, like with Oni, with the insurgents, just the political backroom stuff, that was really put to the side, and that was the interesting part of the universe. And the stuff that they didn't even touch until the Halo 4, where it's they talk about it's actually a big part of the other stories, where it's like, oh, the Spartans were kidnapped as children, were replaced with like clones that died the next day and made the parents think that their child died, and they were forced into the military, and none of the games except for Halo 4 talk about this. And so it's just like, it's nice to see that they're adding breadth and intrigue into the game world again.
Right, I see. Let's let me take a quick break here.
No problem.
Just a moment, folks.
We'll be back.
name that episode Over a Year. So welcome back. Welcome back, folks, as we transition into part 2 of this podcast. CH is going to be suggesting the name of this episode be the Over 1 Year episode. That could be interpreted in many things. GTA 5 heist missions has not been released for over a year. It could be many other things. It can mean a lot of things.
Our unhappiness with the government for over a year when the government shutdown happened.
Sounds about right. Over a year with the writer's strike. There you go.
Yeah. Over a year. It's the release of Hey Ya by Outkast. That was over a year. It was not specifically a year ago, but it was over a year. So who knows?
There you go. So we were talking a little bit. I guess we're wrapping up our discussions on the Halo series as a whole, and especially the remake, remastered editions of some of the previous titles. So that's very good. I hope you do get it, CH, because I think it's only out for Xbox One exclusively.
Yeah.
So
I might break down.
Oh man!
I've prided myself on not getting the next gen just yet, just because I was waiting for the library to get really good.
Yeah.
Damn, it doesn't look good.
We'll see. I mean, I know that they're gonna reduce the price of the Xbox One for $50 less later on. I think this year, or maybe they've already done it, but for the holiday season. So you're probably better off waiting for Black Friday. They roll around. You may get some good deals on it. Some deals on the games as well. It's definitely up to you, sir. I mean, I know next year is definitely going to ramp up, especially in terms of the library. So that's definitely a good time to buy, probably later on this year, and just kind of get some titles that's going to hold you over till then. Right now, I am enjoying my time with the PS4. I haven't really played it in a while because I've been playing Bayonetta 2 on my Wii U. I'll get into that a little bit, but yeah.
Oh, please do.
I haven't really gone back to. I know we discussed the Evil Within. I haven't really gone back to it. Really, it hasn't. It's a good. It's not a terrible game. It hasn't really impressed me enough to really go back to it. I'll get to it eventually. It's just not my top priority right now. Definitely for any other game's sake, if you haven't played Last of Us, definitely get it for the PS4 if you're gonna go in next gen. Get the Last of Us. Play what else?
Infamous Two Sons.
Infamous, definitely. Since I didn't end up paying for it, I got it for free when I bought the PlayStation 4. So I definitely get Infamous.
Oh, nice.
And Wolfenstein's good if you're looking for like a single player first-person shooter. That's very old school. There's a little bit of regenerating health, but it doesn't generate the whole amount of your health. But it's sticks to very old school first-person shooters. You shoot shit. Don't ask questions. There's health packs everywhere. The environment's kind of destructible, so you can always find like additional ammo and health in crates you can break open. A lot of stuff. It's good. It's a good title. That's about it. There's more out there, but I just haven't really delved into it yet. I haven't played sports games in a long time. I heard good things about Madden, so I may give that a shot. I play a lot of the FIFA 15 demo. Not really into soccer, but the game as a video game form is a lot of fun. Good stuff.
What about the? Have you heard about the WWE game that came out recently?
Yeah. As some of you may know. May or may not know, I am a wrestling fan. Not much these days because the writing is just atrocious. I like wrestling as a whole. I like watching good wrestling matches. I'll definitely get that. I'll definitely get the game. Yeah, I'll definitely get the new game because I know that the recent one that did come out for 360 and PS3, it's not the complete version that you'll get on the PS4. It's almost like an additional. If you played the last year's version, it's going to be the same as that, just with some new wrestlers. But the next gen version is going to have a whole new engine. It's going to have features that is not in the previous gen. So I'm going to hold off on getting that till like the PS4 version comes out, which is going to be like in 2 weeks. So not very far along till that comes out. And I know we have Call of Duty come out. There's that. It is what it is.
Yep. I don't. I love the first Modern Warfare game. I played there's just a lot of great set pieces, but I was one of those people who was strangely invested in the nationalistic and kind of xenophobic story of the Modern Warfare series, and then as Modern Warfare 2 came around, it was I don't really know what this is, and then I watched the Modern Warfare 3. I'm like, this isn't for me.
No, it's definitely evolved quite a lot. Well, maybe not evolved if you look at it that way. It's definitely come a long way since the first ones come out from World War II to kind of more advanced future warfare, and that they're taking a lot of elements from what I've seen of Titanfall and then some other elements of just some futuristic kind of sci-fi that could probably be good. I've seen a few videos on it. I'm just not really first-person shooter kind of guy, especially online, because I'm not, compared to everybody else, I'm not the greatest, and I get easily discouraged playing online. So it's not really for me. So we'll see. I mean, it's never say never. I haven't played Call of Duty since Black Ops 2, so that's the last Call of Duty game I played. It wasn't bad.
I heard that was good.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was fun. For those who don't really play the campaign, I can't really attest to how well the multiplayer is compared to that. But I got enjoyment out of it. Ice Cube was in it, so why not?
Wasn't Michael Rooker, Merle from The Walking Dead in it?
I don't remember. It's been a long time. I know they've had a lot of celebrities have some kind of role in the Call of Duty games. I know that with Advanced Warfare they have Kevin Spacey in the role, obviously as the villain. You can't have Kevin Spacey in a movie like that without him being the villain. I know that Jason Statham was in Jason Statham was in what World at War, maybe. No, that was Gary Oldman. He was in World at War. That was the Cold War.
Yeah, Kiefer Sutherland was in. It was actually in World at War as well.
Yeah, he was in that. So obviously they're kind of rotating some of these actors.
I love that mission where you drunkenly tackle a Christmas tree.
Oh, I wish that would have been awesome DLC. Rack up points to take down every tree you can. Only the Kiefer Sutherland away, dude. Have you speaking of Kiefer Sutherland, have you had the chance yet? It's cool if you haven't. Have you seen the rest of the episodes you need to see for the last season of 24 they put out, the Live Another Day?
Oh, I haven't seen it yet.
You got to.
I'm ashamed.
You got a chance.
Okay, I will put that at the top of the docket. I will see. The next time that I see you, I will be further in. I promise.
No problem. I just wanted to see if you've gotten made any progress on that, because I bought the Blu-ray and I was looking at it, so that reminded me to ask you that question. I've been collecting those shows, the seasons ever since season 5. So I don't have all the seasons, but I definitely have been purchasing them since they've come out. I know that the Blu-ray comes with addition. I think an epilogue of what happened and what you may expect for future installments. I hope they put out another miniseries. I think that's benefited the show a lot, to have it be a miniseries and kind of and scale it back and minimize the amount of episodes, because that's definitely been sometimes the downfall for that show. That's too much episodes and they have to fill in time with just other stuff. Sometimes can affect the story. Sometimes that was definitely attributed in what most people say season 6 wasn't the greatest season. Because of the writer's strike, so that kind of affected it.
Yeah. Well, especially with the writer's strike, it's going to take a hit, and 24 episodes for 24 hours. They're probably okay, so what are we going to do for this? What are we going to do for this? How are we going to stretch this out? What do we do with these characters? These actors are only available for this, so probably miniseries is the best way to go, or movies from now on.
For sure. I mean, especially for a show that's really invigorated the way how to do a show. I think that show definitely had a dramatic effect. How definitely has some influence on some of the shows we see now in terms of what a kind of a drama can do on TV.
Yeah.
It's definitely at the time when TV shows were starting to become more popular, and it wasn't really like a downgrade from movies, because that was kind of the thing. Most people most actors, or I guess more the entertainment business, saw you being on a TV show kind of a step down. But nowadays it's kind of been the opposite. You're gonna get more success, notoriety, and get other roles if you're on a TV show, especially good ones. That's
Bryan Cranston.
Bryan Cranston is a perfect example. He's definitely been high in demand after the Breaking Bad. He's been. You'll say what you will, but he's been in the Total Recall remake, and he's been in the Godzilla movie, and Argo.
That's part of the Godzilla movie.
Yeah, that's what I hear. I haven't seen it, but hear his parts is pretty good.
It's like, you know what the big thing about that movie that really bugs me is that, the director and everyone behind it's like, oh, it's kind of like Jaws, where you don't see the creature for a while and only comes out like in the second half of the movie. And to that I say, you do realize the reason why Jurassic Park and Jaws was like that is because in the beginning they established characters and storylines and stuff that's not tied in with the monster. Like, separate. They just didn't pay attention to that. Like, no, we're just gonna make it all about the mystery and not show it and not really understand why that's not right.
Yeah, especially for a Godzilla movie, if they know anything about Godzilla, he's always out in the open. He's not really like this mysterious beast that's
where the hell is he gonna hide?
You know what I'm saying? I know. He sticks out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, those fins. You see a lot of those fins, and they also understand what they want to do with the character, because at sometimes they want him to be, oh, he's just a malevolent force of nature who doesn't really care about humanity, and then it's like, oh, he's a friend to humanity who protects them whenever he can. And then there's another one, it's like, oh, he's actually just a monster and a predator who wants to eat the other monsters things. And then it's like, well, kind of all, not really. They don't really know what they want. It doesn't feel ambiguous. It feels like they don't know what to do with it. Like, maybe we can do all of them? Like, who knows?
That's a shame. Definitely could have been potential for a new Godzilla movie. I mean, anything to erase the memories of the 2000 version, whatever year that came out, out of my mind would be best.
I have two theories on that. One, I would honestly, I would rather watch that 1998 film again than the new one. I don't know, because the new one has these really badass monsters, but the old one, even the humor that's unintentional, that's just like, wow, that's a really bad take, or this is such a stupid idea, is somehow amusing. And if it wasn't called, and the second theory is that if it wasn't called Godzilla, people would have liked it a lot more. Yeah,
that definitely will help, especially with remakes as well. Even when remakes try to do something different, they always end up changing the core of what made that series or remaking popular. So I mean, at that point, you might as well just name it something else. But they're just really kind of going off of the name itself to potentially get asses in seats, primarily.
Yeah, a lot of times they're just using it to cash in the name, and it's a safe movie.
Yeah,
which is not really what the kind of the advertisement. If you look at just the advertisements, a lot of it is like, oh, it's humanity fleeing in fear of Godzilla, and it's going to be like the hubris of man led to the destruction of the world, or at least the destruction that Godzilla has wrought. It's like, no, it's actually just kind of about one monster fighting two other monsters, and humanity's kind of thrown in the middle. And Aaron Taylor Johnson, holy crap, I've seen bad actors. I've seen a piece of wood. There is no actor out there who could have given a more wooden performance than him. I mean, he has this blank look, like he's trying to think really hard if he left his keys at home. Where it's like he's not. Maybe it's just like a fluke. I really hope it's not, because I want Age of Ultron to be awesome. But he's just it's just like maybe Kick-Ass was just like that one day where he was like having that really good acting streak, and then the rest was just terrible because he is the character is just like American McPatriot, who is just like, oh, I'm a soldier with no traits. He is bland as oatmeal, and
like a Call of Duty character. I hear you.
Yeah, and they shove his family in your face. Like, you should feel sorry for him because his wife and son are there. You should you should feel sympathy and sadness. Like, yeah, except we don't know any of these characters. We know Bryan Cranston. We know what he's experienced and lost, but not Aaron Taylor Johnson. He's just like, oh, I'm stock military character.
Yeah, just a combination of how the character's written and how it's performed. It's gonna make or break that kind of character you're gonna portray, especially if it's a centerpiece. You wanna make sure it's somewhat interesting, at least you would think, if you're gonna make that guy the main character. But evidently, could even do that.
The saddest part is that there was no of all the Godzilla lore to remake. They did not feel it was necessary to remake Jet Jaguar from Godzilla vs. Megalon, and that is a sin. That's cardinal sin. You do not dangle the promise of a new Godzilla movie without putting Jet Jaguar in there somewhere.
Blasphemy.
Jet Jaguar!
I guess since we're on the subject of movies, have you seen any movies, any new movies recently? Whether it be
Snowpiercer.
Oh yes, at last you've seen that.
At last.
That movie's fantastic.
At last, Snowpiercer has crossed the finish line.
I was actually going to ask you if you've seen it because it got put on Netflix recently, which is awesome.
Oh yeah.
I definitely want to rewatch that again. I've only seen it once in the theater when I was lucky enough to see it when it was out limited in some theaters out here in Vegas. So that's good. And unfortunately, Birdman is not available in my area, so I can't watch Birdman. I've heard nothing but good things about Birdman.
Birdman!
I wish it was the Birdman, the Harvey Birdman. That would have been cool.
You could not believe how excited I was that they were making a Birdman movie. It's like, all right, Harvey Birdman. What is this shit? What is Michael Keaton doing in here?
Yeah, I could be mistaken. That was like, it's one of those trailers where you thought it was actually something that it wasn't. You know, that I've talked about the story many times. Like back when the trailer for Sky High came out, I at first when they took off in the bus, I thought this was the Magic School Bus movie. You know, I'm a Magic School Bus fan back in the day.
Yeah,
that's how I got
Scholastic Bus was awesome.
And I thought that was the movie adaptation of it. It's like, god damn, and then it turned out to be a superhero movie, which evidently, it was a decent movie. So I got something out of it. It wasn't a Magic School Bus movie, but it was. I got a good movie out of it. Because Kurt Russell is a superhero. Come on.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That was a surprisingly good under the radar film where it was like really competently made and it didn't do anything egregious, but it was just like, we know our tropes, we're gonna play with them well, and you're all gonna have a good time. Where what was the main character said, like, my best friend became the villain became my best friend, and my best friend became my girlfriend, like that sort of thing. That was well done.
Yeah, that was back. I mean, that's back when Disney actually made pretty decent live action movies.
Yeah. Sadly, Herbie Fully Loaded could not.
No, unfortunately not. I mean, even Michael Keaton was in that. Now that we're talking about, you see how that goes? It goes back around. And Michael Keaton was in that.
Hello.
Jesus.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi. How you doing there?
I'm good. I was just saying that it kind of ties everything back around to Michael Keaton because he was in that movie, Herbie Fully Loaded.
Oh yeah.
Probably not a role he wants to be remembered for, but hey, we remember him for it. This is why we're here. We remember non-important, roles that we're probably taking for a paycheck, but that's why we're here. You know what I'm saying?
That is certainly what Lindsay Lohan would hope for right now.
Yeah.
Just that poor girl. She just went into a direction nobody anticipated.
Who knows? She may get some money from Rockstar, man. I mean, they did use her likeness after all.
No, she won't. Listen, unless she's suing them for using her likeness for the character of Trevor Phillips, she's not going to get any money.
True.
I mean, it's just like it's a lot of things are going to weaken her argument. First, she's pretty much in the public sphere, so that weakens her argument that they used her likeness in a public manner that was just too publicly exposed. Like, you can do that with... It's more easier to do that with celebrities and politicians. Second is that the starlet could be confused... It could as easily well as be a parody of... I don't know, any of the once good girls gone bad, like, I don't know, Marilyn Monroe.
Yeah.
Or,
like you said,
Betty Davis.
It can be interpreted for anything. It's just not one specific person. Like, if I didn't get any sense of that in the game, like, it's more of like a parody of mostly just how people behave in terms of the public eye and how they react. So, like, everything else in that game is mainly, as it has been, and for some time, I guess since past some of the older games, it's always been mimicking and also parodying, but you can't tell if it's parodying it sometimes, because it actually has come to fruition in terms of how they interpret some people and how they act, especially celebrities. So
yeah,
it's crazy how that happened. You know, she brought that up, she dropped it, and she's bringing it back up again. So
she's desperate for money.
Yeah.
Yeah,
As we aren't we all? So
I feel sorry for her, but honestly, it's like, listen, you're not going to win this. You're not going to get settlement out of anything. If anything is going to come out of this, it's that you're going to get even more broke and more desperate. So don't do it, please. Do not do it.
Don't do it.
Don't do it, Marion.
What did you think of Snowpiercer? The head back on that topic there. How'd you like it?
I freaking loved it.
You got that Bioshock sense. You know that I think I brought it up too. You know, I mean, people have been saying it's reminiscent of Bioshock. Like some of the elements and tones and themes of that movie is very Bioshocky. Especially how they move from tram to, was it tram? I don't know what the word is.
They move from train segment to train segment.
Right, and it changes.
And it feels like they're constantly upgrading, or they're constantly like level hopping, like more like a side scroller where it's like you can't go left. And you know, I was noticing this, like Chris Evans only goes left to right throughout the entire film.
Right.
Like, so he can only progress, and it's. I did get a little bit of the Bioshock feel of Bioshock Infinite feel of like the separate. The rich from the poor.
Especially
areas.
Yeah, especially in that in that one cart where they have these school children's, and then they have like their own kind of these own activities, and they have watched his video. It's very very Bioshock funny with Andrew Ryan, all that kind of propaganda. Yeah, man.
That was really good, but it just I didn't think I'd love it this much. I honestly thought, like, okay, it's probably just this, well done or sci-fi film with Chris Evans that, people are just like, oh, it's such a surprise that, it was not put into theaters, that, it was put out here. But I was like, wow, this is speculative fiction at its finest. And it kept throwing me for loops every other minute. Like, there were things I did not anticipate at all, where they meet the Axe Gang. I love that, just that moment where they realize just how incredibly screwed they are when they're going into the tunnel.
Yeah.
And I love that there's this was the same director of The Host.
Yeah.
And besides being that one was also a well-made film. And I gotta say,
the host is like the host is like a Korean like a monster movie. I haven't seen it completely, but I've heard nothing but good. I've enjoyed what I've seen of it. I definitely we'll check it out when I get the chance. After seeing that movie, I wanted to see some of the previous work. So that's just want to throw that out there for those of you that don't know what the Host movie's about. It's like this Korean monster movie, and it has some touches of humor. So I think it was really enjoyable from what I've seen of it.
Yeah, it's kind of the same, where it has these darkly humorous bits in a very supposedly like very serious story where Chris Evans in a big fight scene, he slips on something. It's supposed to be like this oh crap I messed up moment, and it's just like very weird stuff. I love that, just like that they have. It's not like very dark and very serious all the way through, like say something like V for Vendetta, which is a great movie, but it's tonally the same throughout the entire film. But there's like these moments of just like very surreal oddness, where like the characters act like cartoon characters, or they do very weird things. Like there's this. So for those of you who don't know, Snowpiercer is this post-apocalyptic sci-fi film about the essentially last remnants of humanity on this train that the train is running on tracks that encircle around the globe. What happened was global warming. Everyone was worried about global warming, and so they put something into the air to essentially cool down the planet. But it worked too well, and now the planet is completely frozen. So everyone is now living on this train that's just like persistently going on this one track that loops around the world, and they can't stop, because if they stop then they die. And essentially the train supplies them with all the needs, and the rich are in the front, the poor are in the back, and now people are starting to plan for revolution. And it's very interesting speculative fiction, because it's all about like what people, like the horrors that people will do, as well as what, how they justify going on, and just the morality of it all, and a very interesting just smorgasbord of South Korean weirdness thrown in there. Just like the scene that really stands out is the song that they have in the education center with all the kids. Yeah. Like they have the woman who played the drummer in Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, who's just like singing, and like the table's spinning around as she's singing, and it's just, they aren't afraid to get really weird and really stylistically eccentric, and that's what I really love about this film, and that it just a really well told story, and just a Chris Evans.
Yeah, Chris Evans is really good in the movie. Really, I think it's probably the best performance I've seen out of him.
Oh yeah,
I think out of anything, even better than Not Another Teen Movie Man. Come on.
I mean, he doesn't have a banana glued to his butt, but this one is sure a close second.
Yeah, he was really good. He really showed off his acting chops. Really seemed like he was dedicated to the script. Really liked what he was doing there. You don't really get that a lot, especially with some of these actors that kind of already been through the mill of kind of highs and lows in their career. A la Bruce Willis. God damn it, he did not give a damn in that last Die Hard movie. He did not look like he wanted to be there. Jesus, compared to that.
Like if you could, he's like Christopher Walken. If you can get him, like if he has an open weekend, he'll do a movie. Like, it doesn't matter how good it is. Doesn't matter. He doesn't care if it like damages his reputation. It's like, let's see, is Friday open? Okay, yeah, let's do this movie.
At least Christopher Walken is somewhat enjoyable to watch, even if it's like a movie. It doesn't seem like he's too into. I would definitely. I think the last movie I've seen him in was Seven Psychopaths. He was definitely good in that one. I don't know if you've seen it. I don't know if you've seen that one. It's a good one. I think I talked about it. It has Colin Farrell. As Colin Farrell, it has
Rockwell.
Yeah, Sam Rockwell and Woody Harrelson. It's like this black comedy, black dramedy, whatever. It's a good film. Definitely check that out. Directed by directed and written by the same guy who did In Bruges. So definitely, if you haven't seen In Bruges, that one's another good one too.
Oh yeah. In Bruges was a very, very good one. I love dark comedies are something that I think are that genre is very easy to get wrong.
Yeah.
And within Bruges, that one definitely touched like, yeah, okay, this is the perfect blend of just dark humor and the content that we know is going to work. So I'm very, very interested in seeing Seven Psychopaths.
Yeah, definitely check it out. I wish they put it on Netflix. I definitely watch it more often. But yeah, back to Snowpiercer. It definitely has some really good supporting characters as well. Especially the one that they meet later on, the one that they pull out from like incarceration or one of the drawers they have. I guess they have like these when they go inside like the prison. The prison tram. That guy that they pull out that is very good with hot wiring doors to open the next sections. He was really good, and then like his wife or girlfriend. They were like
that's his daughter.
Oh, his daughter. They were like getting high off like these rocks. These what were they called?
Cronol.
Yeah. They were like these. Were they like explosives or something like that, right?
They're essentially toxic waste, right. And they apparently get you high, but they will kill you because they're like they can be used as explosives, which is just how dangerous they are.
Yeah.
And interesting just to see kind of this ensemble cast. You have John Hurt as this interesting kind of old man sage sort of archetype that really throws you for a loop. Later, you got Jamie Bell, who plays the kind of young, cocky, up and coming, like, oh yeah, we should totally do Revolution. And then you just have this one, as you were saying, the Korean actor who actually worked with the director before on The Host, and the guy who played, the girl who played his daughter was actually the one who played his daughter in The Host. So they play father and daughter again.
Yeah.
And that director is just, he knows how to get the good performance out of that actor, because he gives. It's interesting because they have it so they have to use translators to talk to each other, but the fact is that that they talk to each other in their own language. And Chris Evans speaks English, and the South Korean actor speaks Korean, and it's still just this enthralling conversation between the two, and right. Just what they have to say. It's a very universal dialogue, and that's like, wow, this is incredible, and just like a very multifaceted and multiracial in ensemble cast.
Yeah, so you have a lot of other. Good actors as well included. It's very supporting in the very supporting roles. Yeah, then Tilda Swinton is in it, and then
I've never seen her ham it up this much, and she's just having a whale of a time being this crazy spokeswoman who Snidely Whiplash, who's just like this cowardly kiss ass who just is completely deluded, and that was just great.
Yeah, she was really good, and then Octavia Spencer as well. There's just a whole lot of different kind of side stories as well regarding some of these characters that are really good, that all tie into the main story of the movie. I definitely like the payoff in the end. There's definitely some payoffs that they set up in the beginning, and then they reveal on in the end. They're really well done. I can't really say too much, but there's that, and then we have Ed Harris is in there as well. But I can't really say too much on him without really giving away the story. But you can kind of see where the story goes.
Hello?
Near the end. Hello. Yellow. I think you lost CH. I think he's gone. Let's get this man back.
And hello, my ragtime gal.
You can hear me?
Send me a kiss by wire. Baby, my heart's on fire. Hello?
You hear me, sir?
Hi, there you. How you doing?
I'm good. I was just, I don't know where I left off.
You cut off at Ed Harris. You said you couldn't say too much, but...
Yeah, Ed Harris is in it as well, but you can't say too much about his role in the movie, but you can kind of get a sense on, what he's going to end up being involved in some way. You can kind of get a sense of that, but at the same time, there's more to it than meets the eye, as they say. There's more to that story.
Mm-hmm.
Especially the characters, they definitely make the movie work. Like just having Chris Evans there, it was good. But I mean, him alone without interesting side characters, I couldn't see this movie really have the biggest payoff without those really good written supporting characters that were there. So
absolutely.
I mean, all in all, I mean, it's a fantastic movie. It's one of those movies that went on the radar, but they really went about it in a good way in terms of like putting out the film on like video on demand, and just they did a good job with it, especially how they distributed it and kind of the word of mouth on it. It really helped the movie out, especially I think make most of its budget back. So it's a good film. Definitely check it out if you're into those sort of themes that we discussed, and if you like Bioshock, I mean that's probably the closest you're gonna get to a Bioshock movie.
Yeah, it is just it's well written. It's something like over 2 hours, and it doesn't feel like that. It feels like an hour and a half movie because everything that it's so brisk, it's paced so well that it feels like, oh, that's a really quick movie. It's like, no, that was over 2 hours, and it just like such creativity, such artistry. It really warms my heart that they stuck with their guns and said, no, we're not going to cut content out of this and get and make it more acceptable to audiences and easier to swallow for the sake of a theatrical release. We're going to release it on video on demand and just get a groundswell. And I think it was something like a $20 million budget, and it made back $80 million. So it's definitely successful. And this is good for a lot of reasons. For me, just because it's like, okay, it's a foreign director doing something weird and not completely within the Hollywood system. An international cast. A product no one has ever heard of. Because Snowpiercer was a French comic book.
Really?
And
wow.
Yeah, it was it was a French comic book from like the 70s that that the director was like, this would make a good movie, and then they just made it.
There you go.
It's such a risky venture to do this, and I'm so glad it's paying off. That all these actors in there, everyone gives it their all. Every single actor, including even the small like Octavia Spencer, who gives a great performance herself. I love. It's really weird, that one character who's the father of that one kid who gets talked to about the hats and the shoes, and and like I don't know who that actor is, but he looks crazy, and I've seen him before. He's like, I like this actor. He's kind of like Danny Trejo, which no matter what you see him in, it's like, it's that actor. I like him.
Yeah, I think it may be one of those character actors.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, definitely
Hardly recommend it.
Yeah, definitely would recommend it. It's on Netflix. If you have Netflix, check it out. Very enjoyable. I've been doing a lot of that. I've been doing a lot of that. I've been checking out some things on Netflix. I actually been rewatching. Not really rewatching. I never really got to see the show as it came out. I think I've only watched the first 3 episodes and then stopped watching it. Not for any particular reason. I'm very bad with keeping up with shows, because at the time when it came out, I had too many shows to watch. That's why how I lost track of it. But I
understand, man.
I've been watching Archer. I think I seen.
Oh yeah.
I saw the first second season. I'm digging it. I like that. I really like the art style for it, and I'm a big fan of C-Lab and Frisk and Dingo, so I like those guys' type of writing. So far I'm enjoying it. Not some of the jokes don't always hit me, but I like the direction that they take with the storytelling so far. It's definitely different from what they've done before. The jokes are not as not very similar to what they've done before. It's a little bit more. I don't know what the word to just put it here, but it's a bit more. I guess they're trying to be more clever in terms of some of the jokes and making you think. Especially some of the running jokes that they have, when someone refuses to do something, you can't do it or you won't. It's neither. One of those ongoing jokes.
Pick one.
Yeah, pick one.
Adam Reed. I think I still watch Archer. I think the first season is absolutely fantastic. I have some issues with, I have that feeling where Adam Reed doesn't really know how to continue a show past its first season. Where that's how I felt about Frisky Dingo, where it was like the first season I loved, and the second one was like, they don't really know what they're doing. They seem to be kind of just like, well, whatever seems to be the fan favorite character, we'll just stick with them and do whatever.
Yeah, I got that sense too.
Yeah, with Archer, they got an ensemble cast that they're trying to use well, and it's an interesting sort of peer. What is it like? C-Lab does, a comedy spoof of sci-fi. Frisky Dingo did like a comedy spoof of superheroes, and now Archer is like a spoof parody of like James Bond and 60s spy films. And there's this one joke I love where Archer's talking to his mother, and she asks like, "What decade do you think this is?" And he just goes, that's actually a question I've been thinking about quite recently," because they just like pull stuff out of everywhere, because they got like computers from the 80s, but they got like Cold War tensions of the 60s, and like just like technology and politics from everywhere. And just this is it's a really good show. I don't think it's always. Sometimes it falters and stumbles, but I think it's definitely one of the better comedy shows out there right now. Yeah. Especially with its, it's a show that makes me laugh, and that's definitely paramount for a comedy.
Yeah, definitely. That's the way to go about it. And it's like it's an animated show. Like you don't really see too many of these kind of mature animated shows, like adult centered animated shows. And Adam Reed's been really good about that, putting those kinds of animations together and making it really appealing to kind of a mature audience. I've been really enjoying it so far. I definitely dig it. It also has I also got the kind of Mad Men vibe as well, because it does feel like it's it is a spy parody, and it kind of feels like it's very 60s as well. Especially like they have these kind of office politics going on as well. So that kind of reminded me a little bit of Mad Men. So it's got that going for it, that vibe. And how everybody in the office just bangs each other, pretty much. So that kind of got me going there as well. Thinking about Mad Men.
Sexual harassment lawsuits everywhere. I love how Archer is like, he is mostly a very deplorable character. He's like, he would be the best spy in the world if it wasn't for his vices, of like women and alcohol and sometimes drugs.
Oh, many drugs, yeah.
And just it's a very interesting show, and I think that art style works for them very, very well. I think the most recent season, Archer Vice, where they actually have them trying to sell like a large amount of cocaine, where it's that's actually pretty interesting season, and so I definitely recommend just like continually watching it, because they experiment in interesting ways.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I'm on season 2 right now, and I'm enjoying it. From what I've watched so far, I kind of did a little mini marathon yesterday of it, and kind of got reacquainted with the show again. It just invigorated why I liked that type of humor and show, especially since it's coming from the guy who did C-Lab and Frisky Dingo. I really like that art style and the humor and that they wrote for it. I'm digging it so far, so I'll definitely check out more of it as we progress through our days. Really love it. Only other thing I can bring up that I saw in another movie on Netflix was this foreign movie called Witching and Bitching. They're not from the title itself.
Whoa, what?
It's this movie called Witching and Bitching. That's the title of the movie.
Okay, what is it about?
I didn't think much of it. As you'll see on the cover, when you look it up on Netflix. It's like this upside down green witch just smiling at you. And the synopsis is these jewelry thieves, they steal gold from a jewelry store. The movie starts off where they're all dressed up as these street performers. You know, the ones you'll see, like you'll see like a SpongeBob, you'll see like a Jesus, everything. They're dressed up as these street performers. They rob a jewelry store, they steal gold. You don't know why until later on. They're all. This is weird. This movie has some interesting themes and thoughts on women in general. I kind of got this from some of the characters. All the characters have kind of woman troubles. Like one is married, not happy in their relationship. And here's the kicker: when they robbed this jewelry store, the guy and his son, him and his son, are actually a part of this jewelry heist. So they're using his son to rob the bank too. And then one of the guys that he robs not the bank. What did I say, bank? One of the guys that they robbed the jewelry store with is like, "Are you sure you want to expose your kid to the stealing and robbing up jewelry stores like this?" Like, no, I know, man. I know it's not right, but this is the only time I have. This is the only time I have with him. I mean, I got joint custody. This is very. It's a blend. It's a horror movie and a comedy at the same time. Like, you don't get that in the beginning of the movie, but later on, once they get that out of the way, they stumble upon this. After they rob this jewelry store, they're on the run because they're all going to use the money to move to France because they're all had it up to here with their significant ones. They hate their wives, and they go up against this kind of gas station, kind of out of nowhere. It's kind of being handled by like these creepy people. Like it would go into like some kind of Halloween place. There's a creepy looking guy, looks like Igor. There's like a witch they don't know is a witch. They're all kind of creepy looking, out of the backwoods kind of people. So pretty much it kind of kicks off from there. They kind of get into this tango with being hunted by witches and being used as sacrifices for this big dinner that they're planning to pretty much eat people. It gets crazy. There's definitely more to it, but it's a funny horror movie. I think that's it's one of the funniest horror movies I've seen since like Shaun of the Dead. So it's like a very horror comedy. So I definitely check it out. This is definitely going to be one of those movies I'll watch every year because I really had a good time with it. It's like I mentioned, it's a foreign film, so it's. Unless you know Spanish, you'll be reading subtitles. But that never bothered me when it comes to those kind of movies. But it was a really funny, enjoyable movie.
I'm sorry, but I pulled up Witching and Bitching.
Yeah.
And the preview image is of a gray ashen Jesus hanging out of a car with a shotgun.
Yep.
And I cannot stop laughing.
That's the beginning of the film. One of the guys is dressed up as Jesus. Is covered up in silver makeup.
Oh God.
I mean, if that doesn't get you interested in watching this movie, I don't know what will. Definitely.
Oh no! I'm putting this on the list.
Put it on the list, CH. Watch this first. Watch the rest of 24, and then we'll go from there. That's
okay,
on your watch
I got
list.
one for you.
Okay.
And for all the lovely listeners out there, it's called Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Oh yes, I've seen this.
Have you seen it?
I've seen it. It's funny.
Oh, okay. Well, then I won't recommend it.
No, you can bring it up again and just kind of give a little bit of detail what it's about for those who haven't seen it yet. It's a good film.
Yes.
A really funny film.
Oh, okay. It's a horror comedy starring.
I don't remember what the guy's name is, but one of the guys was in. If you remember the show on the CW, what was the show called? Reaper. Remember the show Reaper? I think that was Kevin Smith had some involvement in it, but it was like the show on the CW where. Damn. I'm trying to remember, but Ray Weiss was in it. He was the devil.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that show?
I think it was called Reaper.
Yeah, Reaper. Another good show that ended too soon, if you ask me. I love that show.
Yeah, They use if it's good, and if like it's too good for TV, they'll realize that yeah, that's right, and then they'll take it off.
Yeah, but yeah, one of the guys from that show was in this movie, and then the other guy, he was if you've seen Dodgeball, he was the guy who played the pirate in Dodgeball.
Oh, yeah, Alan Tudyk.
Yes, good character actor.
Yeah, and yeah, he's it's they play two country bumpkins. Please go ahead. Yep.
Yeah, they play two kind of these. Well, I guess you would consider rednecks. Out in the back, out in the backwoods there. I mean, these guys are they're pretty cool guys. They kind of just that kind of don't mind. They kind of keep to themselves. They don't. And
yeah.
And they're pretty cool guys, and they're not these suspected
killers.
They're
not stereotypical rednecks.
Yeah, they're not stereotypical rednecks. They just enjoy the outback life, doing their thing, eating pickle,
drinking beers, fishing.
Yeah, eating pickled eggs. Simple things like that. Yeah, so the movie centers around them, and then you have these kind of college kids. The movie's very set up in a cliched horror movie setup. You go these
similar to Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah, pretty much. They get these kind of college kids or on vacation. They go out in the deep end of, I guess, this southern or maybe very very forest heavy area, so to say. And
traditional hillbilly South.
Pretty much, like we mentioned, it's just pretty much they set it up in a horror movie fashion. They go out in this kind of cabin to enjoy themselves, get drunk, have sex, all that good stuff, and they see these guys in this store where they go out frequently, and they instantly creeped out, and they're like, it's all set up in a very comedic way where they're just gonna be themselves, and they're thinking that they're out to get them and being weird. And it's all set up like that throughout the whole movie. They're just trying to be cool and try not to make them seem like they're like these crazy hillbillies who want to kill them. And on the other end, they that's what they think. One of the girls that is one of the love interests in the movie,
Katrina Bowden.
Yeah,
you might know her from 30 Rock.
Okay,
she's like the really young assistant.
Yeah, so she ends up getting hurt while out for a dive in the lake, and then they go out and rescue her, the two guys, and then one of the guys that is with the group, the college kids, they freak out. They're thinking that they're kidnapping her, and then all of a sudden they're out to get them and save her, and they put up this elaborate plan to save her, and all in the meanwhile these kids end up getting killed in some accidental horrific way, and they all think that they all think that the two guys are killing them, which is hilarious. So definitely good spin on that genre and setup of a horror movie, but done in a comedic way. So that's definitely another good horror comedy to check out. That and Bitching and Witching, man, it's a good one.
You have tickled my fancy, sir, and just seeing a shotgun wielding Jesus has only made it more so. So looks like everybody's got some good suggestions for tonight. So Bitching and Witching 24 and Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Yeah, I wish I could have brought this up for that Halloween episode. That would have been good. Those two films.
Hey, as far as I'm concerned, November is only Halloween Part 2.
That's the way I see it. Why even stop on that day? We can continue it in the month of November. There you go.
Yes, indeed. I mean, nobody really remembers Thanksgiving that fondly because there's always the controversy of should we be celebrating the day of was it like this false idea of reconciliation between the Pilgrims and the Indians that never really happened. So, I mean, why not just make it like a holiday everyone can get behind of like, ooh, scariness and pumpkins.
Definitely. So that's about it for me. That's my movie recommendations on Netflix. We gotta do that more often to get a segment going for that. Other than that, I'll get into some talk here on Bayonetta 2. Actually, today before we even started recording, about an hour or so or two, I actually ended up finishing Bayonetta 2 for the Wii U.
Nice.
I gotta say that game is phenomenal. It's easily, I'll say it now, that's gonna be my game of the year. I really had a lot of fun with it. It definitely improves upon on the very few faults that the first Bayonetta had in terms of. I felt the game was a bit too long. I think it kind of dragged on a bit too long in the first one. I think it took me about like 10, maybe 12 or so hours, depending on how good you are, which at first that you're not really. It's really a difficult game to master. It's one of those games where it's a hack and slash. I think the creators may have done Devil May Cry at some point. They did do the Devil May Cry. But it's very similar to that kind of game type. It's very hack and slash, 2-button type of combinations. The game doesn't really require you to remember combos. There's really no set name for combos that you achieve. It's just all displayed to you as you do them. As you transition from level to level, you get during like the loading screen, you can get the opportunity to, F around, practice your moves. That's a great feature, by the way. Having that as a loading screen, just practice your moves. Like I mentioned, there's no really set name for the combos. You can mash the buttons sometimes, but there's a certain amount of moves you want to do that are pretty good, pretty cool to watch. It's really a test of like your skill in dodging and using the feature which kind of slows everything down. If you dodge at the very last second without getting hit, it allows you to get as much hits as you can on the enemy to take them out quick. And that's really where you try to master in the game. It's as you progress, especially with Bayonetta 2. It starts you off with getting acquainted with the controls, and it is slowly, sure as it gets a bit more challenging, especially with some of the different enemy types you fight, especially the ones that are really fast. That you try to time the dodges and then try to master their animations. Sometimes they'll mix it up as well. So it's definitely gets in that territory of you really gotta pay attention and not blink in order to get past this. It's a really good game, man. It's the character Bayonetta is a little bit different. She has shorter hair, and the story doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Still, you can get some idea out of it, but it's
wait a minute. It doesn't follow the narrative beauty that was the first of Bayonetta.
It's crazy, man. It's hard to believe. It's tough. I know that this story. I know it can make sense, but at first glance, it's really hard to decipher because you're always going from one action set piece to the other, so it's really hard to follow. And there's not a whole lot of backstory. I think there is if you read some of the text, but who does that? Who reads? I don't.
Reading is for losers.
But you kind of get some sense on what's going on. Not completely. You may have to replay it again to get some idea. But this delves into a little bit of Bayonetta. You actually get a little bit of info on her parents. Her parents are in there somehow, and you meet a character that's sort of similar to Bayonetta in terms of because the first one dealt with her having some memory, not really recollecting her past, and as you progress through the game, you learn a little bit more about Bayonetta's past in the first game. This one does is kind of the same thing with a different character that you meet, and as and that kind of all pays off to the end where you find another big ass boss that's gonna blow up the world, the universe, or whatever. I'm still trying to make some sense. It's hard to do so. I really can't. For the life of me, if you put a gun to my head, I cannot explain to you the story of the first two Bayonetta games. It's really hard. It really is. And some will say, I don't know how I feel about that. I can't really fault the game for it, but if you're going to put in really long cutscenes, I don't know if your story's going to make some sense, but at the same time, it really is an action game through and through. That's the main focus, the main primary focus of that game, and it does achieve it well. It achieves it well. It has practice mode. You can do some practice. The first one didn't really have practice mode other than the loading screens, but in this one you could just pretty much practice your combos whenever you want. a lot of weapons you get out you get quickly as you progress through the game. Because I remember the first one, you had to really gather up a lot of coins and a lot of skill in order to unlock anything really, and it really required you to use a lot of health items, which this one not as much. It kind of scaled it back a little bit. It's still challenging as hell, but I didn't really end up using a lot of health items as I did in the first one, because I don't know if it was just me or maybe the game's changed, but I was terrible at dodging. I always got hit a lot and died a lot. This one I didn't die as much. It's a really fun game all in all. There's levels in the game where you replay the first game. So there's areas you go back to from the first game, pretty much, which is cool. I actually remembered some levels in the game, and the game looks gorgeous. It's really great boss designs, really great area and level designs, just great all around. You forget and you don't appreciate those as much because you're always fighting, you're always on the move, and you don't really get to see them as much. But I was looking through like the art gallery from the game after you beat it.
Oh my god, I love that. Any game that includes like concept art galleries, 3D models, bonus points. I love that stuff. Please continue.
Exactly. It has all that stuff after you beat the game. So I was just like skimming through like the level art, the character art, the boss art. Really a lot of amazing detail that get to put into those games that it's hard because you don't really get to really appreciate them or at a glance, because you're always fighting. You can't just like stop and look, because you're gonna get hit and die. So you can't really always pay attention to that. But yeah, it's really beautiful level design, man. Really well made. All in all, really good game. And they actually do the same thing as the first one, where you have like this big music montage with Bayonetta. So the first one, when you beat the game, she just has like this music video plays of her dancing with like a bunch of those enemies you fight. That was hilarious. Yeah. They kind of do the same thing.
Did they do that in the sequel?
Yeah, they kind of do the same thing. It's a little bit different. It's more of like this very jazzy, chill song. And she's just pretty much just dancing on a pole. that's Bayonetta, man. Very over sexualized character, but in a way it seems very empowering. I don't think Bayonetta is really sexist at all. I don't really get that vibe at all. She's always whooping ass, and most of the male characters aren't really. It's kind of like a role reversal. Like the male characters are always kind of in distress and not really too.
Yeah.
Not very too dominating. Like, as you still get the Joe Pesci character in this, the Enzo, who's in this game. Get that guy, and the other guy Luca. Kind of this. Like I mentioned, I don't know what he does, how he knows about like the other dimensions in Bayonetta, but he's in this game. He's got like glasses that can see through the other dimensions, so he can see through Bayonetta. You know that guy that was in the first one that was always kept always kept showing up in like random places.
The essential, the guy with the Doctor Who scarf and the mysterious background and past, whose father I guess died.
Yeah. I forgot about that part.
Who's trying to figure out his father, and then it kind of went weird. Like, no, he doesn't really care, but he kind of cares. I don't know. Who knows?
Right. That's the thing. Who knows with some of the story points in this game. Like, I see it. I see this happening, but I try to digest it, but I can't fully explain it without sounding like a nut with the plot.
It's like Lovecraftian mythology. The more you try to explain it, the more mad you'll become.
Yeah, it's got a lot of alternate kind of Greek mythology mixed with like fantasy, because there's some like Greek named and people in this game, like that. Like the new character you meet that I mentioned, that is kind of like this witty, with an English accent, like in dreads, kid named Loki, and there's that kid, he's like calling Bayonetta love. Oh, sorry about that, love. Bayonetta is like always getting pissed because she's calling her that, and there's very very good, very funny back and forth between those two, and there's a lot of there's some comedic moments in that game as well that are really well done. I did not expect. There's this one part with Luca, that guy we were talking about earlier with the scarf. He's always coming up and showing up randomly. So he came in to try to save the day. Like Bayonetta was falling from like a great height, and he comes swinging in with his back claw or whatever. Tries to catch Bayonetta, and then goes, since she's in the other dimension, he can't really do anything. Grab her because he had his glasses on, and then he tried to grab her, and he's like, "Oh shit, I forgot. I can't grab her because she's not in this dimension." And then he just swings and crashes right into the wall like George of the Jungle style. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah, they always. Yeah, Luca is essentially just like the physical comedy guy because Bayonetta is supposed to be graceful, and no matter what she does, she's always in control. And Luca's okay, he's capable, but sometimes he's a goofball. They had that entire mission where he's hanging off of a giant missile.
Yeah.
In the first Bayonetta.
Right.
And I like the fact, of course, Platinum games. No, even if I don't like the game, I'm always interested in whatever game they release because they are certainly dedicated to making an interesting experience.
They certainly do. There's so much to this game that they pull off. It's just amazing action set pieces. You don't really see that a lot in games, and especially ones that have a female driven character, and especially ones that's kind of has a Japanese flavor to it. Over sexualized female character, but it also in a very empowering way.
It's also hard to not see that sexualization as kind of that's her choice. It's not something someone else brought onto her, or someone said oh, the only way men will take you seriously is if you sexualize. And also, she is just very oddly proportioned to the point of I can't take her really as a sex object.
Yeah,
where it's her legs are as tall as skyscrapers. And I can't really see that as being, proportionately sexy. Let me just say.
Yeah, she's just not the way she's designed is not. She's not really it's not really possible to emulate. That's why it's so hard to do a cosplay and really be impressed by Bayonetta cosplays because you'll see a 5 foot tall chick try to be Bayonetta. It's nah, you can't pull it off because she's not. She doesn't have really the physique for it, a real person physique. That's why she's Bayonetta, because she's not really supposed to be a human or human embodied features. That's what sets it apart from what you think.
Yeah, even though they put in those Nintendo costumes where they have Samus and Link and Princess Peach as alternative costumes. Can you unlock those from the beginning, or do you have to unlock those later?
Yeah, you have some of those costumes. I think you have to beat the game on a certain difficulty to have the ability to unlock them, and you have to purchase them.
The original one.
Yeah, with the in-game currency. I did actually spend the coins to unlock because it's hard because it doesn't tell you what the costume is. It kind of describes it in a way so you can kind of get a sense of what it may be. But you have to look on Wikipedia to see exactly what costume you're getting when you buy it because it really doesn't tell you exactly what it is. I'd rather just be a simple, straightforward. This is Metroid costume. If you want to buy it, rather than just this costume. Costume design for the ultimate scientific warrior is I have no idea what you're talking about. Just tell me what it is. So
they got it for the rights. They can use the image, but they can't outright say it, or else
I guess that's probably
give us permission. Costume.
I guess I don't know. But I managed to unlock the Metroid costume and also the Star Fox. There's a Star Fox costume in there. So when these costumes you put them on, they actually change a little bit of some of the attack design in terms of how you go about fighting. If you go in as the Star Fox costume, you'll get a target, a square target reticle on the enemies as you shoot them with your gun.
Cool.
You get that, The Metroid one, you can actually hold down your gun attack button, and it'll fire like a pulse cannon at the enemies. It'll do that, and you know how you double tap the right trigger. That will enable Bayonetta to run. When you do that with the Metroid costume, she turns into the ball, the Metroid ball.
Oh, cool!
So very, very, very cool, nice touches that makes it that much more of a slightly new experience to replay it again. So the game definitely has a lot of replay value. I definitely will be replaying it again, trying some of the costumes out, seeing how difficult I can make it without completely quitting, because it was challenging but not too difficult. I think the first one was a bit more difficult, but there's definitely different difficulty settings you can set it on. So if you want to just experience the game as a whole without really being too bogged down with the combat, you can go ahead and set it on easy. More of a challenge, you can go on normal or hard or super hard, they call it, I guess ultra climax or whatever.
Yeah.
Different difficulty settings. So I mean, all in all, this is a very complete package. This is definitely
and you get the first game.
And you get the first game. That is true. You
get that's quite the offer for Wii U individuals. Which the first game, I would say, even though I'm not the biggest fan of it, certainly worth a full game purchase.
Definitely. I mean, it's hard for me to go back to that first one. The first one is good on its own, but I think that they definitely tweaked it in a minor way to improve upon some of the things that were missing, some of the things that there were very few faults with that first one, but they did improve on it with the second one. I think the game is shorter, which is good, because you really got bogged down at how long it was, the first one. I think it took me about 8 hours to beat, so not a very long game. And I mean, there's just a whole lot to it. It allows you. There's a lot of replay value to it. You unlock further costumes to try out, different weapons. You got bow and arrows, samurai swords, fire and freeze weapons, things like that. You can mix and match the combos that you want. You could put a sword on your hands. You could put the guns on your feet. All sorts of combinations you can try, and it's just a better experience, this one, I think, and it's just a lot better design in terms of the pacing. I think it's got better pacing.
The one level I could not stand in the original Bayonetta was the level where they're going down the highway.
Yeah.
Oh man, I will disagree with you, good sir, and respect your opinion. Where I did not like that, where you're dodging cars and trying to land very carefully on trucks, and it's, for me, I thought that could have been cut and that could have been shortened down, especially since there really isn't a whole lot going on in the narrative. There's not a whole lot of narrative going on to begin with, but still, it's one of those. I don't know. For me, I didn't like that part and thought it could have been cut for pacing issues, but it's overall it's a good game.
No, I understand. It's been a while since I played the first one, so I can't recall exactly what my experience was on that one. I didn't have that much trouble. It's one of those things where you'll always find different stories from people in terms of what they had trouble with. It's like, I had trouble with this, but the other person may have gone through without a breeze. But I really enjoyed. Maybe I got lucky. I really enjoyed that segment there. It was certainly something unexpected and different that they did. They kind of emulate that a little bit in this one. You don't drive a motorcycle, but you actually take control of an F-18. So you're on top of an F-18, and then you can control the F-18 and also shoot while you're on top of it. So you're using it to dodge, and then there's a whole lot of other similar elements like that. You ride on like a robot. You can use like these robots you fight with, and there's also these other kind of these other kind of enemies that you ride on, and just pretty much kind of emulate that highway segment. But they're definitely, I think overall, there's better pacing, a lot better level design that is less frustrating than the first one was. So definitely an improvement on that. Definitely a good game. Really glad that they made a sequel, that they got funded for a sequel. It sucks that it sucks that it's not on the 360 and PS3, but it seemed like it didn't make enough money to really justify Sega, I guess, putting up the money for it, since Nintendo went ahead and decided to do that to make this game possible, and just made it exclusive, because they needed games at the time when that came out. So that was definitely the reason why I bought it for Bayonetta 2, and it's absolutely a fantastic game. If you have a Wii U, definitely get it. We'll see how the prices fare for that on Black Friday, but if it gets good enough cheap, I would definitely recommend. I'm going all out on a limb here, but definitely get the Wii U for that, the Bayonetta 2.
Ooh, okay.
It's a good game.
I've heard nothing but incredible things about Bayonetta 2, that it Bayonetta was a great game in its own right, and this one seems to have fixed all the problems that were in the first one.
Yeah. Any
minor nuisances, and so I love Platinum Games, and apparently I'm looking this up right now, and Hideki Kamiya, actually, I just wanted to make sure that he came back for the sequel, and as the supervision as the series creator. So that's Hideki Kamiya, I think he's a great creator, and Platinum Games, I really appreciate all their work. So Wii U, it's strange, because for the 7th generation, it seemed like Nintendo had the most popular system, but had the least interesting library. Now they have maybe the second most popular system with the best library of games right now, including Bayonetta 2. So that might be my next purchase for next gen console.
Right. I mean, there's definitely a whole lot out there for the Wii U if you're really into some of the Nintendo property, like Mario, like either Mario or like Zelda, all sorts of different games on there. Especially a lot to offer as well in the Virtual Console. You can definitely purchase some old school games from Nintendo and play it on your 3D, not the 3DS, the Wii U. I know they have Yoshi's Island on there. I may get that because I love Yoshi's Island. So playing it on the Wii U on an HD television, that'd be something worth getting. It's only I think it's only like $5, so definitely not going to be too rough on the wall out there. But there's definitely a lot out there. I haven't really delved into any other Nintendo titles other than what it came with, like Super Mario and Luigi. New Super Mario and Luigi came with that. So I'll definitely play around with it a little bit more. I will be getting like Super Smash later this year. I want to play some Super Smash Brothers.
That would have, Bayonetta would have made an interesting inclusion into Super Smash Brothers.
You know what? That's what I thought too. Now in hindsight, she would have been an awesome addition to that roster for sure.
I mean, I know they have swearing and vulgarity and sexualization in even just in the first Bayonetta, but they included Snake, who was in Metal Gear Solid, which is like very, very mature deterrence. Actually some talks of suicide, the idea of free will, and they could include Bayonetta, maybe not have her take off any of her like they have in the of Bayonetta or Bayonetta 2, but hey, they could have her in there. If Sony All-Stars could have Raiden and Big Daddy from BioShock, they could certainly, Nintendo could certainly use Bayonetta for Super Smash Bros.
Oh yeah, there's definitely a way they can work around the animations with her, like her special, how she summons these giant beasts from her hair. There's definitely a way they can work around that. They can cover her up when she summons it. It'll still keep it true to the character in terms of her abilities. So that definitely could work. I see why not. Maybe there'll be DLC along the lines later with the inclusion of her as one of the playable characters you can go ahead and have fun with. That'd be really awesome. I did not think of that, but she definitely will be a good inclusion now that they kind of acquired her in terms of game wise, in terms of their console. So that'd definitely be cool to see. Now that you bring up the sexualization, I did not really get the sense of it as much, like the over sexualize of her in the second one. Like in the beginning there was, But like as you progress, maybe it's just maybe not noticing, maybe being desensitized because I played it so much with the first one. Not there really isn't as much like of her half naked in the game. I mean, other than when she summons Beast, but it's not really like the focus as much anymore. Like it's they kind of tone it down a little bit from what I saw. I mean, you can call me out on it for anybody who's played it, but I don't know. Maybe I didn't notice it, but it's kind of a bit toned down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It's still good, but good to see. Why not?
Absolutely. It's nice at least that they, it seems like the developers understand the difference between making sexuality for the sake of just unnecessary sexual exploitation for the male gaze versus actually making that a part of the character. Where, Bayonetta owns that. Where she, it's not forced upon her. It's not like she doesn't have a choice in it. She decides to be this outrageously over-sexualized.
Mm-hmm. Very, very overpowering character. Like, there's rare instances where when you see her in kind of distress. Like, she's always on top of everything. She's always very powerful. In the second one there was like maybe one or two scenes where she got she better match, but for the most part she's very overpowering on everything. So she's rarely does she take a hit on anything, really. That's what makes her more appealing. She's very powerful character there. Makes you feel badass when you're doing those combos. Always fun to do. The torture racks are awesome. Those moves you'll do during the combat where you can just you take one single very minor enemy and just put them in like this coffin with pins attached to them.
You like an Iron Maiden?
Yeah, an Iron Maiden. You put them in there, or it's all sorts of different awesome little animations that you can do as you're fighting. I love the game. It's fantastic. So I'll definitely be. It's gonna be on my list there. It's probably that and Dark Souls 2 are probably my top two games of this year. I really had fun with those. Really good games.
Okay, well, that is high praise, good sir. And
good shit.
As much as it pains me to skip Halo, I think I'll probably put the Wii U above an Xbox One purchase.
We'll see how it goes, man. You gotta see how those Black Friday deals fare. Who knows? You may get two of them. Who knows? Be optimistic.
My wallet knows. That's who knows.
Oh shit, that's true.
I would love to get both, but maybe I will get both. It depends on how much I can save and save up for a video game console.
Gotta get that Kickstarter for CH, folks. This is important. This important matters at hand here. This is for podcast related purposes. It's got to talk about the latest and greatest games out on the next.
It's for my business, ladies and gentlemen.
So we'll get that going. See what happens. But yeah, other than that, good sir, I don't know if you got anything else that you want to talk about. But I'm all out of stuff. I mean, I've talked about everything that could possibly be done. We talked about a good amount of stuff. Some movies, TV, some games. I like that. I like mixing it up.
Yeah, just I replayed a little bit of BioShock 1 for Halloween, and I just love the fact that even after all this time, the atmosphere is still great. And I will go to my grave saying that graphics do not make a game. Graphics do not make a good presentation. The art style does, and understanding of how that works and how it creates a mood. That's
true. I would say the same for Deadly Premonition. I don't think it's as the greatest art design, but in terms of how they construct the world and characters, and especially, we talked about Deadly Premonition a lot. We talked about that a lot in Splinter Cell, the Splinter Cell series as a whole. But Deadly Premonition's got that touch to it. It's got the care and a lot of attention to detail that you don't see a lot with AAA games. I mean, especially the fact that they have set patterns and set schedules for all the different characters that you can just pretty much follow. and see where they go, it's mind blowing to me. That's what they spend most of the time on. I think Swery said that they spend a lot of time with like the characters, like patterns and schedules on where they go. Then they actually do like most of like the gameplay in terms. Like once they did all that, I was like, oh shit, we don't have much gameplay here. That's how we got the inclusion of like the little bit of like Resident Evil type of run and gun and shoot, and just enemies that easy to take down, all repetitive. Just spend so much time putting together like this world, and that's what really appealed to me. The world is real.
Yeah. It feels like they spent so much time figuring out, like, okay, what about this character? What does she want? What does she hope for? What is kind of her main obsession? And why is she as weird as every single other character in this game?
Mm-hmm.
And
attention detail.
I've heard nothing but outstanding things about D4, which is
yes, I want to play that.
Swery 65's next game, and it's only played on the Kinect, right?
You can play it on the Kinect, but initially I think it was meant to be kind of the thing to push forward the Kinect was that game. But since like we went through this whole ordeal of like the Kinect being required and things like that, they kind of stepped backwards on that. You can play the Kinect, you can use the Kinect for it, but you don't have to. You can use a controller, but primarily they designed it with Kinect in mind, but you can still play with a controller. But that's pretty much it. I mean, I think it's an episodic game, so I think they've only put out like the prologue or in the first episode or two. I don't recall exactly the specifics, but it's an episodic game. It's still ongoing, but I've heard nothing but good things about it. I wish I had an Xbox to play it, but I'm not gonna go out of my way to get one just to play it. I'm sure it's great, right, but I wish I could play it. It has a character in there named Forrest Kaysen from Deadly Premonition, so that's something there.
Yeah, we need more interesting developers out there who have a good, strong voice and creative freedom. And Swery 65, no matter what in the world he is smoking, I hope he continues to do so, just because that is just some very, very interesting nonsense he comes up with.
Yeah, as I've said, he's like the David Lynch of video games.
Mm-hmm. It's and in the best way possible. Yeah. So it's the Twin Peaks video game that we never got.
But we are getting the show revival.
Oh my gosh, I am so happy that they are continuing the next season of Twin Peaks. I don't know. I would like to think that it's out of a genuine appreciation of the art, not hoping to continue just like a recognizable name.
Yeah, hopefully it pans out well. There's definitely, I mean, there was a lot of things that were answered, but there were still a lot of things that still need to be answered, like a lot of questions that were created after that final episode. Mm-hmm. We'll see how it goes, and I hope it turns out well. I like that show a lot. After playing Deadly Premonition, it got me interested in watching that show, and once I watched it, I was hooked. I love that show. But yeah, other than that, so you played some of that BioShock. Anything else there that you played?
Just it's. I think I was thinking back on this, and I think 2007 was the year where video games have changed the most, where it was the most important year for the art form, where we got all brand new IPs that could really only be utilized in the medium of video games, including Portal, Mass Effect, Assassin's Creed, and BioShock, which was a huge cavalcade of games that not only realized that they could tell great stories, but also great stories within the artistic medium of video games. And just that all of them were very well written. All of them had people who were passionate. They were new IPs, not based on anything before them, and just understood that they were making something very different, very bold, and very expressive, and also catered towards a more mature audience who wasn't afraid of tackling issues that were not associated with video games or video game sports. And with BioShock, that just made me realize that the medium of video games can tackle things in a way that no other medium can even come close to. And just by the necessity of requiring interaction. And, I'm very, very grateful that I live in this time and enjoy these kind of games, just because this is just the moment of absolute joy. Even if we never have a renaissance like that again, I'm very, very happy to have enjoyed it.
Yeah, I'm very fortunate that we were kind of aware and mature enough to have experienced these type of games that have come out during that time, especially getting that realization that you can tell a good story without needing cutscenes. We had this time where video games were very cutscene focused, very cutscene heavy. That didn't give you any really interaction with the world, but BioShock and those other games definitely prove that you can definitely tell a story well within the world and without really needing a whole lot of cutscenes. That's definitely the way to go. I like that kind of storytelling, especially the ones where you either collect items, whether it be like audio tapes or things you read to kind of get more out of that material that you're trying to tell. It's good stuff. Good stuff.
And it just it makes me happy that video games are challenging and now trying to utilize different ideas and different theologies and different theories to explore their gameplay, like Gone Home or Papers, Please, or nothing that just AAA stuff, but essentially all those these video games that just attempt to engrossing story from every type of angle possible, in terms of, hey, what can we talk about? Like, Mass Effect was sci-fi, very obviously. It's been a well-worn genre, but it made it very interesting with the characters and the types of creatures and species that they had going on there. The Reapers and the Asari and the Corians, and just like interesting dilemmas and interesting world building. And Portal is just a fascinating game because I love the fact that it is so incredibly dark. It is so just not nihilistic, but just incredibly not afraid to just delve into this. The closest story I can compare it to is I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream by Harlan Ellison, where it's about this computer keeping the last 5 humans alive to torture, which is what Portal is, but just done in a E-rated environment, which is, God, that's hard to do. And Assassin's Creed I love just because it's talking about the first one, talking about the Crusades with this hero who is this obsessed, who learns his lesson over time and realizes, okay, it's brotherhood that matters, and it's about the organization that we're all together with that actually will endure and last and is important.
Right. But yeah, definitely hard to top that. That was definitely a good thing to bring up there. But on that note, CH, is there anything that you want to discuss before we conclude the podcast? Very good podcast, by the way.
Nope. Just the only thing that I can really think of is that the only thing I forgot to mention on the movie list is on Netflix. There's also been the new release of Django Unchained, and I really like that movie. I don't think it's Tarantino's best, but sure is one entertaining film.
Oh yeah, I did have a good time with that. I did see that was available, so definitely worth checking out again. Definitely, when I have the time, I'll definitely put it on the list. If you haven't seen it already, if you like westerns, that's definitely a good one to check out. especially one by Quentin Tarantino himself. You know what you're getting. Getting some interesting banter back and forth, especially the very dialogue heavy.
Oh yeah.
So that's what he excels at.
Lots of male genital mutilation. He has something about that where he's just like, I got to include this in every single one of my films now.
Man, and maybe some feet if you're into that.
And yeah, definitely got some toes out there.
Yeah. But yeah, other than that, it was a pleasure getting this podcast recorded here, folks. CH, as always, thank you for gracing us with your presence here, as always.
Same to you, good sir, and it has been quite an episode. Thank you very much for talking with me, and thank you so much for everyone out there listening.
Yeah, so this has been episode 156, Bloody Thumbs Podcast. As per usual, you can follow us on Twitter. I am at Splinter47, and CH is at CH_Gorog on Twitter. You can primarily check us out on my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Splinter47. It's all spelled out, and on the BGB.com with our fellow compadres, Mr. Big Red and Y and Deep Voice. They always got some things going on, especially on the whole streaming thing, and also their own podcast as well. Get coins and die trying on the BGB.com.
Yep. I always love hearing that title.
And and iTunes as well. So all the usual links will be posted on the show notes, so you'll know where to find us, and anything else that we may be doing. You can always check it out there. I'll occasionally do my streams every now and then. So if you're interested in checking that out, you can look at the links below. Just twitch.tv/SP_47, because someone took my name, so I gotta stick with that. And that's about it. Thank you all for listening. Thank you, CH, for joining me on this episode of 156 of the Bloody Thumbs Podcast.
It feels like only yesterday.
I know, man. It's been from the good old days of Spill.com to now without Spill.com. You know what I'm saying?
It's how time flies and how we all grow.
That is true. So everybody, take care of yourselves, take care of others, be kind, be courteous. There's my Jerry Springer outro here. So take it easy, everybody, and I will be signing off. Take it easy.
And I am CH signing off as well. I don't have as inspirational of words as Splinter does, but don't be a douche. That's all.
That is all.